In the scriptural justice system, the highest of the high, the Most High, Yah, is the judge and jury, and the seed of Israel are his children. These are their stories. Raw, unfiltered, historically accurate, exactly the way you asked for it. No church gloss, no European sugarcoating, just the real reasons Rome elevated Paul over the Messiah and over the original apostles. Number 3, why Rome promoted Paul above the Messiah. Raw breakdown. To understand this, you must know what Rome needed and what Paul provided. Rome never wanted a movement that uplifted the children of Israel, taught Torah, taught commandments, taught covenant identity, resisted empire, refused assimilation, saw Messiah as a Hebraic king, rejected pagan gods, rejected Rome's authority. But the original movement, led by James, Yaakov, Peter, Kepha, John, Yohanan, the Nazarene sect, the Hebraic followers in Jerusalem, was exactly that. It was Torah-keeping, Israel-centered, Sabbath-keeping, temple-honoring, anti-idolatry, anti-Roman, nationalistic, rooted in the children of Israel. Rome could not absorb or control that. Paul's doctrine, however, solved that problem. Reason 1. Paul removed the Torah, Rome's #1 enemy, Messiah. Open quote, keep the commandments. Matthew 19:17. Not one jot will pass. Matthew 5:18, close quote. Open quote, you are not under the law. Romans 6:14, the law is abolished. Ephesians 2:15, close quote. Rome hated Torah because Torah forbids idols, forbids emperor worship, forbids Roman holidays, rejects Roman gods, creates strong ethnic identity, produces resistance movements. Paul erased the barrier. Rome needed a religion that was obedient to empire, not tied to Israel, not tied to commandments. Paul delivered exactly that. Reason 2. Paul opened the faith to all nations without joining Israel. Torah says nations must join Israel, obey commandments, graft into covenant, adopt Hebraic identity. Paul says, open quote, Gentiles do not have to become Israel. Galatians 2, Romans 11, close quote. This was perfect for Rome. Now Romans could join the movement without. Keeping Torah, keeping Sabbath, circumcision, food laws, rejecting idols, leaving empire identity. Paul made the faith empire-friendly. Reason 3. Paul separated the Messiah from the Hebraic nation. A Hebraic Messiah was dangerous. Rome feared any movement that united identity, land, prophecy, covenant, nationalism, liberation from oppressors. Messiah taught, open quote, I was sent only to the lost sheep of Israel, Matthew 15:24. Close quote. Paul changed it to, open quote, he came for all nations equally, Galatians 3:28, close quote. That de-Israelized the Messiah. It also reduced the children of Israel to a side story, not the center. This made the faith safe for Rome. Reason 4. Paul weakened resistance by calling the government ordained by God. Messiah was executed by Rome. James was murdered by Rome. Peter was executed by Rome. John was imprisoned by Rome. The real movement was anti-imperial. But Paul wrote, open quote, the powers that be are ordained by God. Resist them at your own peril. Romans 13:1-2. Close quote. This was perfect for Rome. It produced submissive believers, obedient citizens, non-rebellious movements, acceptance of empire rule, no uprising. Rome loved this doctrine. Reason 5. Paul shifted salvation away from righteous action into belief-only Messiah. Open quote, do the will of the Father, Matthew 7, verse 21. Keep my commandments, John 14:15, close quote. Paul, open quote, not of works, Ephesians 2:9, close quote. This made salvation easier, cheaper, empire-approved, universal, non-threatening. Rome hated Torah but loved belief only. Why? Because belief does not challenge empire. Commandments do. Reason 6. Paul created a religion Rome could control. Rome could never control. Sabbath, circumcision, food laws, temple practice, Hebraic identity, covenant, land promises, prophecies about Israel's restoration. But Rome could control a religion that drops Torah, drops Israel, drops commandments, drops identity, drops land promises, drops prophecy, drops the covenant, focuses on faith, obeys the empire, meets on Roman days, adopts Roman traditions. This is exactly what Paul's doctrine produced. And later, Constantine used Paul to build the Roman Church. Catholic councils canonized Paul's letters. The empire made Paul the apostle of truth. Rome buried the original Hebraic apostles. Paul didn't create Christianity intentionally. Rome used his teachings to build Christianity. At reason 7, Paul was the only apostle who did not walk with the Messiah. Rome preferred someone they could shape, someone not rooted in the Hebraic movement, someone not bound by the Messiah's teachings, someone not in covenant identity, someone not connected to the original apostles. Paul fit perfectly. He never walked with Messiah, ate with Messiah, heard Messiah's teaching, followed his commandments, saw his ministry, was trained by him. His authority came from, open quote, a private vision nobody witnessed, close quote. Rome could use that. Reason 8, Paul taught Rome-friendly social order. Paul said, open quote, slaves obey your masters, Ephesians 6:5, close quote. Open quote, women be silent, 1 Timothy 2 verse 12, close quote. Open quote, pay your taxes, Romans 13:6-7, close quote. This made the faith compatible with Roman patriarchy, Roman slavery, Roman taxation, Roman class hierarchy, Roman law. The Messiah taught liberation. Paul taught conformity. Rome chose Paul. Reason 9. Paul's letters are the foundation of the Roman Church. Count the books. Messiah's direct words, basically 4 books. Peter, James, John, Jude, 7 books. Paul alone, 13 books. Rome elevated his writings so high that Christianity today is 80% Paul plus 20% Messiah. This is not accidental. It was a political move. Final raw truth. Rome promoted Paul because Paul created a religion Rome could control. No Torah, no Israelite identity, no commandments, no covenant, no nationalism, no rebellion, no Sabbath, no circumcision, no food laws, no prophecies about Israel rising again. Paul's message is submit, believe, obey the government, forget Israel. Messiah's message is repent, keep Torah, restore Israel, reject idols, resist evil. Rome chose the doctrine that kept their empire safe.
I'm just flying high on my horse. I live by peace while you incite wars. I just mind my business, I just mind my business. While you just in your feelings, you just in your feelings.